all, I just received a news feed with regard to a resolution passed by the House of Representatives just a while ago, and the title reads as follows: A resolution expressing unwavering solidarity and support to the leadership of the Honorable Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez in upholding the integrity and honor of the House of Representatives in the face of intense assault from the Senate in violation of the principle of interparliamentary courtesy and undue interference in the performance of its legislative and constituent functions. Mr. President, if a leader is embattled or beleaguered in the case of the House of Representatives, it is but normal for the members of the House to express their unwavering support. And if our Senate President here in the Senate is also beleaguered and embattled, we, the members of the Senate, will also express our full support to the leadership of our Senate President. That's normal. But what I cannot understand is the phrase intense assault coming from the Senate. I've been a defender of this institution for more than a decade, and I love this institution. But what I cannot accept is that the title of the resolution is there, intense assault. May you please enlighten me with the definition of intense assault, Mr. President? Because as far as I know, as far as I can remember, if my memory serves me right, there was no direct assault coming from the Senate and towards any member of the House of Representatives. Maybe the minority floor leader can enlighten me with the definition of intense assault. And just a minute. And we violated, in violation of the principle of interparliamentary courtesy and undue interference in the performance of its legislative and constituent functions. What did we violate? I don't think we violated any rule. I don't think we violated the interparliamentary courtesy, because we have always observed it from the very start, Mr. President. And I think this resolution is an affront to the Senate as an institution, Mr. President.
Yes, Minority Floor Leader.
Just to respond to the manifestation of our brave and honorable colleague, Senator Estrada, who has always been, I've noticed that, yes, he always rises to support this institution or a member of this institution, Mr. President. Meron din po kasi sa title ng kanilang resolution. I think the purpose of the resolution of the House, which was passed, I think today?
Yes,
Today, no? Today?
I understand
just
it's
this
today.
afternoon, is to express their support to their speaker. Okay.
And that's normal,
Congratulations
Mr.
to the speaker. That's why he is the speaker and he will remain to be the speaker. Pero bakit kasi meron pa po silang allegations that they are doing this, they are reiterating the support for the speaker because they are facing intense assault from the Senate, so from us. Tapos in violation of the principle of interparliamentary courtesy and undue interference in the performance of its legislative and constituent function. So, as I understand the title, dalawa pong accusations sa Senado is tatlo. Lagyan na natin tatlo. There's an intense assault coming from us, and then we are violating interparliamentary courtesy, and we are unduly interfering in their performance of legislative and constituent functions. Masarap po sana hindi na ito patulan, pero nasa title pa eh. So, that means they really believe this, Mr. President. So, I do not know what the House is after. And then meron pa po sila sa isang whereas clauses nila. I just failed to count kung what number this is, no? Ito na lang po. Whereas on January 30, 2024, the Senate conducted an investigation without a clear legislative purpose, specifically directed at discrediting the Honorable Speaker Ferdinand Marcos G. Romualdez and the House of Representatives. Ngayon, di ba po, Mr. President, when I allege that a member of this House has personal or ulterior motives, bawal po yun, di ba? That's unparliamentary conduct. Ito naman baliktad. Sinasabihan tayo ng House of Representatives na yung investigation natin, although sa title, in aid of legislation, wala daw tayong clear legislative purpose. Okay. I mean, that is the unparliamentary conduct, Mr. President. And for the information of the House, in a few minutes, I will already be filing a bill to make complete, in my opinion, which makes complete RA 6735. So now it can be used now as the legal basis for a people's initiative. Kasi yan ang ruling yung ruling ng Supreme Court. Alam na natin yan, na-remind tayo ulit because of this incident and our hearings, na-reinforce na mga resource persons na ganito nga yung ruling ng Supreme Court, ito yung kahinaan ng batas. So ayan yung clear legislative purpose at ito na ang clear legislative result. A bill will be filed which hopefully will now be sufficient to make RA 6735 as a clear, sufficient, and adequate basis for the people to exercise the right to initiate amendments to our Constitution. So, nakakalungkot that the House, our co-equal body here in the legislative branch, has accused us of practices which they are doing in the very same accusatory document, Mr. President. So ano ba talaga ang gusto nila? So siguro, the leadership, siguro of the two houses must have a dialogue. So maybe our majority leader can talk to the majority leader of the House, Mr. President, for an honest-to-goodness dialogue. Ano ba talaga ang gusto nila? Kasi the document, pagbasahin mo, it betrays something. They want something which they seem not to be able to state properly and directly, Mr. President.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I haven't attended any hearing of the resolution filed regarding the People's Initiative chaired by Senator Amy Marcos, but I have been monitoring the events of the hearings that has been held by the Committee on Electoral Reforms, but never did I see or hear anybody or any member of the Senate accusing or assaulting any member of the House, especially the Speaker of the House. Wala naman hong binabanggit na pangalan ng kahit sinong representante ng Kamara dun sa House of Representatives. That's why I am picked because, again, the Senate as an institution is again facing another challenge here because of this resolution that has been approved by the House of Representatives, Mr. President.
So,
Mr. President, if I may just
Yes, please proceed, Majority Leader.
very short manifestation as I heard my name from the Minority Leader. Mr. President, during the hearing conducted by the chairperson in charge here in the Senate, Senator Amy Marcos, there are a lot of things that we were able to discover in aid of legislation, and that's why my question is if there is a resolution calling for an inquiry in aid of legislation. is this considered unparliamentary, Mr. President? Because in that particular hearing alone, Mr. President, we were able to air out a lot of concerns, particularly, for example, Mr. President, how the Commission on Election would actually address the receiving of signatures, Mr. President. 2 days later, Mr. President, after the hearing, I asked for our provincial election officer in Bulacan. And she herself stated that thank God for the meeting because right now, everything is under the scrutiny now of not just Congress but also of the Commission on Elections. For example, Mr. President, there was a time for a long period of time that the members of the Commission would say that it is just a ministerial duty for them to receive the signatures. And then all of a sudden, the NBank came up with a resolution saying, stop receiving, suspend the receipts of all these signatures. And so, what is it, Mr. President? Is it really ministerial? Is it discretionary? And now, during the hearing, it came about that COMELEC has been issuing certification.
Tama.
The Annex B came out. And so I asked, Mr. President, why are we issuing certification? I thought it's just a ministerial duty. Now, you're certifying. Now, the word certification means you are doing something. It's not just receiving, not just a ministerial duty. You are certifying. Now, the million-dollar question is, how do you certify? How do you certify? And it appears there's no basis on how the Commission would certify these documents, Mr. President. Don't you think it's helpful, Mr. President? I think it's very helpful. Now, on the part of this representation as a member of this august chamber, it bothers me, Mr. President, that our co-equal House, with the House of Representatives, would accuse the Senate of coming up with this so-called intense attacks, Mr. President. Intense attacks. I've been a member of Congress for quite some time, 9 years in the House of Representatives. I've never heard of any resolution like this, Mr. President. I am not going to file a resolution here in the Senate to congratulate our Senate President and tell him, Mr. President, we are all behind you. Or Senator Marcos, we are all behind you. I don't need to do that. Why? May isang salita ang mga senador. May isang salita. Hindi natin kailangan yon, Mr. President. The fact that we see each other, yung pagkamay natin sa isa't isa, alam na natin. Meron na tayong pinagkaisahan. Meron tayong pinagkasunduan, Mr. President. I cannot say otherwise with the other chamber, Mr. President, because, and I think this is the root cause of the problem, I think the leader of the House is not sharing the information that was shared to us by our Senate President. Doon sa mga pag-uusap, doon sa mga napag-usapan, na dumating yung mga pagkakataon ilang beses na hindi sila tumupad sa pinag-usapan. At ngayon, binibigyan pa tayo ng deadline nung isa, kung sino man yun, kung anong gagawin ng Senado. Tayo ba'y utusan dito, Mr. President? Tayo ba ay basta susunod na lamang kahit kanino? Mismong presidente ng Pilipinas, hindi ko narinig na sinabihan ang ating Senate President. I was there, Mr. President, during the meetings. Hindi ko kailanman narinig ang Pangulo ng Pilipinas at sabihin sa atin na ganito lang, dapat ganito yung timeline nyo, tapos na kayo, etc. And we are even talking about the soul of our nation. Mr. President, I take offense as I join the gentleman from San Juan in raising this particular issue. Thank you, Mr. President.